Hello, welcome. You are on the Heart of Success show, and I'm your host, Larissa Vakulina. I go live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. South Australian time zone. And here on this show, I am sharing with you inspiration, motivation, methods, tools, techniques, and tips of how you can create success in all areas of your life. I go over a different aspects of our life and also different anatomy and different thought process and emotions and feelings and how we actually can understand ourselves better and how we can utilize our higher facilities to create the life we want. Today, I was thinking to actually express my thoughts and also whatever the knowledge and what I was reading about defense. So when we are defensive, we feel threatened. We feel sort of the danger so that we perceive it in ourselves, in our feelings, and that feelings are sometimes not real because there's a real danger and also emotion and also illusionary danger that probably only in our minds and it only kind of created in our own system, but in reality it is never ever happen, right? So let me just go deeper into this area of the defense. So when we are in real danger, that's where all our systems start to focus and concentrate only on that particular moment of how we can actually save ourselves. So physically, we start to have this impulse of the hormonal kick that is telling us we are in a real danger. And what happens then? The hormonal system start to express the stimulants for us to actually assess very quickly the situation, and we only focus on that moment of how we can save ourselves. All our physical body is prepared either to fight or flight, and we basically cannot really even exist in any other reality as in this particular dangerous place that we are in. But this is really a good thing because the nature created for us a navigation system that can save our lives in a real dangerous situation where we would be able to have all our faculties to assist in us and make decisions of what to do in that instance. So, but really, when we're looking at the reality of our life, this type of real danger is happening only once in a while, and maybe only once or twice in our life, right? It's really rare when we have the real danger that we experience in our life. And this ability and capacity of our body and our mind and our emotions and our hormonal levels and glandular functions are very much equipped to save us in these situations. So in our mental level, in situations like that, we also cannot think about anything else. So when we are in a real danger, our focus and our mind is only thinking about how can we save ourselves, how can we avoid the danger that we are facing, and we can't really even think about anything. So we only have the mental ability to assess the situation and see how and what we can utilize to save ourselves. We either, again, think about ability to fight the danger, or we know that maybe that's the best way to run from that, right? So emotionally, when we are in a real danger, we only feel two emotions, either the emotions of the fear and flight, right? Like we basically, let me just see when I prepare my notes here. So we have the fright and anger emotions emotionally. So we don't even have any ability and capacity to experience any other emotions. So there's only two. And this is all well to be experienced and also well created for us to actually save ourselves, save our physical existence, save our mental capacity, and save our emotional beingness in a very real, dangerous situations. But how many very real, dangerous situations do we have in our lives? So well, this is where I would like to talk to you a little bit more in details, because most of the time there is not real dangerous situations that we're in. It becomes a second nature in our society to actually be in defensive. It means be in perceived danger or some sort of threatening situations, even though there's no threatening real situations that we face. For example, if we feel some sort of pain, emotional pain or resentment or any kind of disagreement with anyone, so we perceive that as a danger. And this really is something that we need to start to have discernment of the real life dangerous situations and just the situations where we perceive it to be dangerous. This is really important to start to distinguish between those two, because it seems like when we feel in threatened from someone who is not fulfilling or meeting our expectations, we assume that this is dangerous situations, and we automatically put ourselves into that defensive mode. But imagine, when we are in defensive, we feel that we are threatened and that we in danger, and we activate our hormone levels and all of these protective mechanisms to start to accelerate our blood pressure and breathing faster and all of things like that. And it seems like we artificially and are not necessary to activate these protective mechanisms that are protecting us from real danger, and we actually implement them in our everyday life. So this is very a dangerous state to be in, because if once in a while these mechanisms are really helping us and really assisting us into saving our lives or avoiding danger and real danger, being in defensive on everyday basis because we feel somehow threatened by someone not meeting our expectations, or someone is somehow affecting us, and we depending on someone's saying or behavior or something. This is really not a real dangerous situations. This is something that we need to start to understand and train ourselves and practice to distinguish this real and illusionary sense of danger, and start to really equip ourselves in being aware and being in control of how we respond on this stimulus, right? Because if we keep allowing ourselves to be tricked to believing that any emotional pain that we perceive were created by the external factors or someone else from outside, and we perceive it as danger, well, we're not really serving ourselves. We actually decreasing our health. We decreasing our naturally inbuilt immune system to and also the balance of our cells and all the functions and interconnectedness of our anatomy to work in the life supporting mode. So when I'm observing what's happening around the world right now, or when I'm observing what's happening with my clients, it's really clear that to be defensive become our second nature. Well, this is really dangerous. We need to start to ask ourselves a question: is this is really dangerous for me to activate all my abilities and capacities to protect myself from that danger that I'm gonna actually to die, but or not. So this is really something that we as a human beings, through all of this history of I guess indoctrinating us into believing that we are not capable, that we are weak, that we are not understanding, and that we need someone who can take care of ourselves. And that kind of hopelessness and that kind of a weak perception of ourselves and that demanding nature of the ego that we unconsciously put in the driver's seat of our life is creating the environment where we are constantly in the defensive. When we are constantly in the defensive, we are constantly weakening our system. It's not only the physical system in terms of affecting our cells, our mitochondria to contract and be in that space and a place and a state of contractual, fearful state of defending, protecting, and feeling that there's constant external danger around us. But we also limiting and blocking the development of our mental ability to be able to develop in a normal environment of relaxed certainty that we basically just grounded here, and we are developing and growing, and we are listening our guidance, and we are creating the lives we want. So the mental development is suffering. So then emotionally, we also allowing ourselves to fall into this place of that danger that possibly we experienced maybe when we've been children, when we've been absolutely dependent and we couldn't really, be expressing ourselves freely. We've been dependent on parents, and the fear of that dependency is constantly playing in our adult life. So there's three components are all suffering if we allow ourselves be constantly in that defensive state. And what really is happening right now on all the levels of our human life, the psyops that of creating fear around us on many levels, on the structural levels of the economy and political arena, and all the health and all of these major areas of our life. So we are experiencing a great influence of the informational terror that is activating this fearful state, and that is automatically activating that defensive state that we possibly constantly existing on. And this is very dangerous. So I just invite you to really think about it. And most of this defensive state is really very subtle and going on almost unnoticed, because it goes on our unconscious level. So that kind of neurosis, the collective and individual neurosis that we are all participating in, and we kind of been indoctrinated and bombarded for so many years, like, I don't know, thousands, and for sure for the last 100 years. So most of our generation and the past generation and the future generation is in this very wobbly kind of neurotic space where we constantly feel the need to defend ourselves without realizing that that we don't really experience that real danger every day. So this is all illusionary construct that we experiencing, and if we're not aware of this, we are really not serving ourselves well, because we allow our system to be running on a very dangerous levels of the deficit of the normal functioning of our bodies, because that mechanism that was created only for a rare situations of the danger now seems like functioning and operating in ourselves most of the time, 24 hours a day, weeks and months and years. And that is really affecting our emotional, mental, physical state and health and well-being. So I would like to invite you to reconsider your reactions and your perceptions of what's happening outside of you and how you reacting to this. Are you falling into the defensive of what you're hearing, what you're seeing, of what and how your family, friends, and your circle of the community is doing, and how you actually reacting or responding on this, and where is your state is in terms of, am I in defense or am I in my relaxed state? Because when we actually use the naturally given abilities and faculties to protect ourselves in real danger, when we don't have the real danger, it is dangerous to use that. So we need to start to understand that we need to relax and drop all of these defenses when there is no real danger. And most of the time, there is no real danger. There is no war in your backyard. There is no conflicts constantly in your own household or in community, in your town, in your nations. So all of this informational terror that coming into you is only your perception. And again, if you allow these distortions and distractions to get into your system, you activate that defense, which is feeling threatened, feeling in danger, and this is really lowering your immune system to fight real danger. So your storage, I would say, of the capacity to be naturally defending yourself in a real danger is actually on a very low level, because you are constantly in that defensive mode. You're spending all of your capacities and you're affecting your cells, your mitochondria, your thinking process are limited, your emotions are constantly rising into that fluctuating mode, and you're not really serving yourself. So I really would like you to look at the defensive mechanism that you're using and start to really be aware of where you're at. And if you catch yourself that you constantly reacting on something, that you're constantly in defending your own self, your own emotional position, or your own or opinion of you, and you kind of constantly in a battlefield in your life, well, then I invite you to change. I invite you to see how that artificial construct that you created for yourself is consuming your creative energy, that is lowering your immune system, and how that is affecting your life, how that rid you of the feeling alive, feeling happy, feeling joyful, and creating from the place of being relaxed into the certainty of your purpose. So thank you so much for being with me here, and I will go live again next week on Wednesday, 2 p.m. South Australian time zone. And please just start to really know yourself better, because that's the healing that we all need. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week.